One of the better lead guard prospects in recent years and a headliner for the 2023 NBA draft, Scoot Henderson has consistently turned heads with his athleticism, poise, and performances beyond his age. He represents the new era of paths to the league as he became the youngest professional basketball player in US history, finishing his coursework early and skipping his senior year of high school to sign a $1 million deal with the G League Ignite at just 17 years old. Standing at 6'2", 195 pounds with a reported 6'9" wingspan, Scoot immediately looked the part in the G from both a physical and performance standpoint. He put up 14, 5, and 4 on the season. He held his own in what could be his first of 4 Rising Stars games, and in just his second Ignite game, he went for a ridiculous 31, 6, and 5 with 3 steals, all in less than 30 minutes off the bench, and it was something that I don't think received enough attention at the time. All of this and more has made him one of the guys teams covet most at the top of the next draft, so let's dive a little deeper into why that is. Now, his combination of athletic attributes at this stage belong in the Rose, Wall, Westbrook, Fox, Morant conversation. The end-to-end speed, size, strength, and functional explosiveness is all excellent and a big part of his overall appeal as a player. It'll remain to be seen how he puts it all together on an NBA court, and I want to make it clear that this does not mean that he's prime D Rose or Russell Westbrook, but especially at the same stage or age, he's in the conversation at the very least, and he has the rare chance to be one of those guys we talk about for a long time when it comes to the best athletes in the league, and especially at the point guard position. One of the main places he shows off his athleticism is in transition. Every once in a while we get one of those guys who just makes all the other 1% level athletes look very regular. Somebody like Jaden Ivey last year, De'Aaron Fox, John Wall, a few others. And Scoot often does the same in a way that never gets old when you're watching. Whenever he gets the ball and decides it's time and turns on the Jets, something positive usually comes out of it, and while he's still good for the occasional mistake, for the most part he makes pretty good decisions here while playing at full speed, which is something you don't always say about a young player with these type of abilities.
Rebound, Chris Smith.
Oh, look out.
Steal by Scoot. Scoot against Garza to the hole, and the late in is...
Yeah, Mike was very lucky that Newman missed that because he was wide open.
Look at that.
Amir Johnson. Henderson, Euro stepping.
Now his first step in the half court is pretty much as good as it gets as well. He already does a very good job at changing speeds and creating that separation, whether it be from using hang dribbles, exploding off that back foot, hip swivels, hezzies, attacking his defender's top foot with a change of pace between the legs, or what I like to call the Dame Lillard special. It's all really effective and super tough to stop. He stays low and uses his frame, strength, and off arm to shed contact from his defender and rarely gets knocked off his driving lane. And applying heavy ball pressure on him has been a mistake for most players. One moment you think you're right there, and all it takes is him getting a half step, a little bit of daylight, and next thing you know he's finishing at the bucket, leaving you wondering what just happened.
Henderson exploding to the rim.
Just about his experience in the G League bubble and playing guys day after day after day.
And again, he's really pressing up. He's got to be careful.
Henderson driving, get
the short-term future for him in the NBA is great. Watch this. This is unbelievable.
I could also see him being somebody you tell kids to study when it comes to his pickups and protecting the ball and his drives. It's just textbook stuff in a lot of different situations. Most of the time he doesn't swing the ball, he'll press it against his body, keeps it out in front, and nearly turns into a running back at times, holding it high and tight. He also has great peripheral vision and instincts to keep it away from digging defenders. It's all kind of subtle. It's nothing that's really going to wow you, especially with all the other tangible stuff he brings to the table. But it's very important, and I was impressed with how he handled driving into traffic and continued to take care of the ball and convert playing at this speed and at this level. I know I say these type of things a lot, but this is really one of my favorite plays in all of basketball the last couple years. He comes down in transition, gives them a little hezzy at first, probably instinctually looking to get the defenders to match up a little. He just reads and reacts so quickly after throwing it over to his right with that little push cross. He picks it up, keeps it away from the defender all in one motion to the bucket, and then finishes with a right-handed dunk on the left side like a 6'2" Dr. J. Every one of the prospects I watch has at least one play that's like burnt into my memory, and this is one of those. Throughout the season, it definitely felt like Scoot had continued his run as a good mid-range shooter, but percentage-wise, he was actually even better than I thought, shooting 46% on the short mid-ranges, and he was even better on total pull-ups, hitting nearly 49% on 3.5 attempts a game, which is just an unreal number for any player, let alone a teenager. Now, while the attempts aren't nearly as high as these guys, which is obviously important, percentage-wise it was on par with the likes of Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, DeMar DeRozan, and Seth Curry. The most similar I could find in terms of attempts and efficiency were Jalen Brunson and Monte Morris. A lot of times this is a part of the game that takes years for the super athletic point guard to add, and he's already long shown he could be very good here from the jump. And I guess our overall idea of him here will only grow over this next season heading into the draft. He did a lot of his pull-up and mid-range damage out of the pick and roll, which he's ahead of schedule in terms of polish and pace. He did a tremendous job using screens and creating angles and daylight to get his shot off, just making teams and bigs play for playing too far back and giving him that sort of opportunity. Like here, he probably goes a little early, but he has K to drop him back. He can feel Stewart still attached to him and simply hits him with a fake, gets right back into his jumper before Stewart can get back to him to contest.
Well, it's not only...
Or on this one, he perfectly sets up the screen against Canton, and getting away from that screen, he throws it out a little to allow himself to get his footwork right. And knowing Taco's mobility and him moving back, he has no chance of getting close enough to affect it. So Scoot just goes ahead and hops right into it and knocks it down. It'll be interesting to see if teams in the G change how they're guarding him at all, because you can pretty much count it up when he gets to that spot in the mid-range going either direction. But on the other hand, you also know how well and quickly he can get all the way to the basket. He's still got room to keep growing in the pick and roll as a scorer, and we'll touch on some of that, but he's super impressive here overall.
No turnovers for Walton. Less than 17
Certainly
minutes.
understand that there's more pressure on you. Scoot Henderson.
Now, as a passer and playmaker, he's shown a lot of upside and ability in multiple ways, whether it's working off the attention he draws as a driver, getting downhill and making your regular dump offs or kickouts, or making reads and progressions in the pick and roll, or making things happen going baseline, reading that help, or working off of those pistol actions. He's got a lot to like.
Daniels from the corner.
But like, these here are as simple as it gets. This was some wildly early help on the first one, but if he's getting past that first line of defense, you're in a bind having to help over and rotate, and he'll consistently find his man on the dump off or the kick out, and passing it with great velocity out on the perimeter as well. Now, he doesn't get the assist here, but he starts the action. They blitz him, he hits the between the legs retreat dribble, throws a one-handed pass to Mike Foster quickly on the short roll, and he then kicks it to an open Hardy in the corner for three. I think as he continues to grow as a ball handler and just gaining more experience and confidence in certain situations, he'll only get better. Especially now being the real guy on the team, I think we see him continue to expand here and show his abilities as a true lead guard.
Here's Henderson. The quickness, what a pass, out to Hardy, launching. And
Thought clearly was that Moody was going to come down here and play, 30 plus minutes.
That bucket stopped a 13-2 run. Look at that pass.
Great vision. Rebound there by Henderson. He's looking to push. A 17-year-old. Nice pass to Beauchamp in the finish. 16, 12, and 7 assists. And now Scoot Henderson with the drive and the kick. Govan jumper is good.
Ferrari running the point. Has his pocket picked by Henderson. Scoot to Foster.
Now, one of the biggest areas for improvement for Scoot this upcoming season, and likely for the better part of his early career, is his three-point shooting. He shot around 22% from three on about 2.5 attempts a game, and while the mid-range and free throw numbers are very encouraging, this will be a big determining factor in his overall success as a player. I would say though, he may just turn a corner in year 2 getting adjusted to the NBA three-point line, and we might not focus on it as much, but just being able to consistently punish unders in the pick and roll, hitting spot ups and providing more value off the ball long term, and right now with some of the skill sets that he'll be playing with next year, is surely a point of emphasis for him. And then defensively, I think he has room to improve, but it has to kind of be graded on a curve. I thought he had more than enough amazing moments off the ball. He looked solid on the ball in stretches, but he'll need to keep putting effort there. Most importantly, navigating screens. That was the thing that stuck out most to me. And then just staying engaged with a little more consistency and also cutting down the fouls. That was partially related to the engagement and some of the on-ball stuff, but Averaging nearly 4.5 fouls a game per 36 minutes is pretty wild for a guard, and that's a number he'll want to bring down for sure. The G League is so much different than playing high school basketball, and we still don't have a ton of past players or situations to kind of reference or compare his performance to, but most guards heading into the pros are going to take a little time unless you're like an all-defense candidate. But again, he had enough good moments and certainly has the athletic capabilities to be at the very least even on this end, and considering it was actually better than some of his high school stuff, I think he can continue to get better on this end.
Oh, he was rejected at
A lot of threes.
We can only hope.
All right.
In many other years, Scoot would enter the preseason as the consensus #1 overall prospect. His combination of outlier athleticism and overall performance in a pro setting as a lead guard, on top of the fact that he gets to run all this back for a whole nother year, would just make too much sense to not have him up there. And even now, while it wouldn't be my choice, he's a cut above the rest to me, and you can't rule out the possibility of him being the #1 guy next June. He's a special talent, and I'm excited to see where he takes his game from here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new around here, and comment down below what you think about Scoot Henderson's game and what you think the future holds for him. I appreciate y'all for watching. I'm Keandre, this is Hoop Intellect. Until next time, I'm out.
Yeah, I had to push him down. Had the little boy on.
I need mine up front, no ifs, ands, or buts. Tap in if you really bout it. I can be your motivation, I can be the one you call at the late nights on the grind.